Okay, we are live here with this episode of the e-commerce happy hour. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm trying to check here just to make sure that we are actually live. We are trying to go live in multiple locations here today. We should be live on YouTube, which is where we're going to be fielding questions from. We're also going to be live. Looks like YouTube is working, so welcome for all of those that are joining on YouTube. We've also got Twitter we're going to be live on. Looks like that is working here as well. And now, if we can just get LinkedIn, we haven't been able to get all three of those working at one time yet. So let's see if LinkedIn is actually working. I'm not seeing LinkedIn live. Oh, looks like we are live here. So let me check over there just to make sure that seems to be working. Seems to be working just fine. So it's always good to get all of these going. If you guys have any problems with any of these particular channels that we're live streaming from, please let me know. I'm going to try to share the BigCommerce. BigCommerce wants me to share this into their group there, so I can see if I can find the actual post. I don't even know how to share these. That's the problem with LinkedIn. LinkedIn live streaming is just archaic, people. They still have not figured this live streaming thing out over on LinkedIn. But I'm going to try to share this live stream over there. We're trying to grow this into as many different channels as we can, right? Especially when it's useful content, regardless of the platform. So it appears as though we are live everywhere. So we're going to go with it from here. Again, I appreciate you tuning in. If you happen to be new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, we're going to, again, be taking those off of YouTube. I'll try to keep up with any questions on LinkedIn as well, but because it's kind of a new system, it doesn't really show in my system of comments, but please keep them coming. I'm going to pour myself a little drink here, as we do on Friday afternoons with this live stream. And I wanted to talk about something interesting. This topic came across my desk the other day, and I was like, this is interesting. It's just something that I haven't really thought about. It's something that we see more and more in retail, but we haven't seen it, or at least I haven't seen it effectively utilized in e-commerce, and at least not on a mass scale. And so I wanted to find someone that's an expert in text message marketing and bring them on the live stream. And luckily I've been able to do just that. Now he's on the road today, but he said, doesn't matter. We're going to go live. Man's just going to do a live stream from his car. So if we have some technical difficulties, bear with us. This would not be an e-commerce Aholic live stream if we didn't have technical difficulties. But I wanted to welcome Bo Cain to the live stream from Sentext Solutions. Bo, welcome, and if you would, introduce yourself and kind of explain to everyone what Sentext Solutions is.
Yeah, absolutely, TJ. Well, hi everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. I've been with the company, Sentext Solutions, since January 2012. We started the company back in February 2011. And the company is centrally based out of Milford, Connecticut. I fortunately do not live in Connecticut. I actually live very close down here by TJ in Mississippi. But, our company is based on strategically helping businesses, whether it's retail, restaurants, or golf courses or churches. Our whole idea is to help a business communicate just another way, like another fishing pole in the water, so to speak, in an effort to bring that customer back in more often, have them bring friends and family, because there are a lot of things out there nowadays that businesses are utilizing, and they should continue to utilize in the worlds of email and social media and print and radio and TV, and those things are great. But if we're going to evolve, if we are going to really try to maximize revenue, we have to be in touch with people, because people are mobile. I mean, you're looking at me right now, doing this with TJ from my truck, because I'm just out mobile today, and the customers are no different. People are at work, people are with the kids, people are at the gym, people are on vacation, and businesses need to be able to reach people in a way that we as people communicate with one another every day, which is texting. Texting is one of the greatest communication tools out there, regardless of a business's size, regardless of what a business sells. It doesn't matter if the name says Chick-fil-A on the side of the building, or Joe's Pizza or Susie's Gift Shop. Every business has merchants walking through their door every day, customers walking through their door every day. Every customer has a cell phone in their pocket, and every cell phone, every person texts, and every business has things to say throughout the week, throughout the month, and continue to do the things that they've been doing, continue to send emails, continue to do all the other social media outlets that are available. But the one thing most businesses, TJ, have not implemented, which is still staggering to me, 7.5 years in the business, is texting. Most businesses do not utilize it, not from a standpoint of fear that it doesn't work, but more so of knowledge. It's really lack of knowledge. It's just ironic that we use it daily to communicate about birthdays and barbecues and, hey, what are y'all doing tonight? And but as a business, they just haven't been educated enough to how to utilize texting to put money to the bottom line, because it is the amount of revenue, the amount of communication, the way these businesses can communicate pictures and links and compressed videos to customers. There's a reason big box businesses use it. I mean, you can look around. I mean, politically, big companies, sports teams, they use texting because it works, because the customers, the consumers that spend money with them are on the go, and people sometimes don't check email as much as we used to. So those ratios are down. Social media, because it sometimes can get a little clouded, and there's just so much on at a particular time that things can get lost. But the reason text is so powerful is because it sits on your phone until you pick it up, and it's right there, and people can respond to that message that was sent. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know they were 2-for-1 margaritas tonight, or I didn't know they were having a sale, or I didn't know that this was going on over here, over there. And it's a great service for any business's size, whether it's a small, brand new, whether it's online. We deal with a lot of online customers, really big in retail, really big in the food industries. But it can be used internally as well as externally. I mean, because I've got companies out there that use it just to communicate with their internal employees, and it's just a really unique system that is virtually untapped around the United States.
So, as far as texts go, though, a lot of people, at least traditionally, thought it was a bit invasive to try to use text, right? That's more of a personal thing, not necessarily a medium for business communication. Is that not the case? Are there rules to that engagement? How can businesses overcome that fear of a backlash by trying to text folks?
Yeah, great question. And what's really cool, and I'm going to kind of show something. I've got one on my phone here, TJ. So what we do is texting is permission based. And so we require permission from any consumer. Now, other companies out there allow um, you to upload lists. We are not like that. We are very, strict when it comes to compliance. We don't want anybody, like you said, evasive, kind of being in someone's face. The only people we are going to text are the people that have subscribed to that particular business's database. And the only way a customer can receive a message from a business with Sentext is they have physically texted a word to a number and then replied yes. So, I can't all of a sudden start receiving a message from XYZ business, right? Now I do. Okay. I'm telling you right now, I personally have, received texts from other businesses that I have been in before. We don't do that. The only way that a customer of any business out there can receive a message from that business is they have physically taken their phone and texted a word to a number and then replied yes. That's the only way a merchant or a customer can have the communication to that business. We pride ourselves on only wanting to text people that want to receive texts. We don't want to have to anybody worry about, well, I never gave permission, because there's laws out there that protect, people's privacy. And, some businesses, some companies flirt with that, and that's just not how we operate. We want to be, very upfront. Look, you start from zero. I don't care how many people follow you. I don't care how many phone numbers you've collected, in your POS. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care if you have another system. You are going to start from zero, and we are going to build this thing from scratch, because the last thing you want is to start texting people that didn't give you permission. That can open you up for a whole nother conversation when it comes to class action lawsuits. That's why, we're very careful on the people, and teaching them properly. I was just at a summit in New York City, downtown New York, with some high powered people in the industry, some class action attorneys. And my question was, is it okay, or what is your opinion on just texting anybody? If someone has a list, what is your thoughts on just, downloading that list into a CSV file and uploading it and then start texting? He said, um, it's just not worth it, because you never know whose number you're sending a text to, who might know somebody that is just looking for something like this. And sometimes, it probably doesn't happen often, but I've heard some horror stories out there where people that were just sending out mass text messages to people that never gave permission.
Now, you touched on a lot of things there we're going to unpack. We're going to have to come back to some of them and work our way through. I want to finish laying the groundwork here, though, because, text message has been around for quite some time, and you had mentioned kind of how long you've been at Sentext Solutions. But I wanted to maybe lay some groundwork. Like, how long has text marketing been a thing? Is that something that, savvy marketers were using from day one? And kind of what is that growth curve for that medium of communication?
Yeah, it is something that's been around actually quite a while. I think the first text was sent out. Oh my gosh, I want to say it was like 1992, 1993, and it was like Merry Christmas. This was obviously a long time ago. As far as companies, like Syntext, text messaging has only really started to make some strides uh, over the last 10 to 12, maybe 15 years max. But TJ, it's not something that has taken the nation by storm. It's something that is not out there, that has exploded. Take credit card processing as an example. credit card processing has been around a long time, but it took many years for merchants to kind of get on that cycle of, okay, well, we gotta take credit cards, all right, to be able to stay in business. And texting is taking a similar path. I mean, it's grown he tremendously over the past, even since I've been with the company, how much we've grown. But it is a process, and savvy marketers, that work for companies, yes, it is. They use it. These bigger companies out there, these people that have um, firms or somebody working with, they are kind of in the know when it comes to texting. Um, our business is predominantly built at Sentext on mom and pop businesses. I mean, look, I'll work with anybody. I mean, I've got clients that have 100 locations, and I've got clients that are the only person that works in their business. And texting, even though it has been around quite a while, has not grown like it will grow over the next 10 years, because it's going to continue to grow. You see it when, I saw it the other night on TV. Again, presidential candidates coming out, they've got their podium up there with words you can text, and sports teams. And just the more and more it's out there, the more it's going to grow. But just like anything, it takes time. And if it's not people out there like Sentext or the other companies really pushing it, see, we're unique from the other companies because we have an independent sales force in the field that work for Sentext, where other companies maybe just wait for the phone to ring, I guess is a good way to put it. We're actually out there trying to make relationships and kind of educate merchants on how texting can benefit their business.
Now, you touched on in a previous comment kind of regulations and potential troubles you may get into if you try to be too edgy. And so there are a lot of useless and seemingly unenforced regulation around spam and emails. Maybe what are the legal requirements around text messaging?
Yeah, and anybody can look this stuff up. It's CTIA and TCPA. It's just, when it comes to permission, it's a gray area. It's not like somebody's, it's not like they have police walking around with, oh, well, you're not doing it this way or you're not doing it that way. It's consent. E-consent is required. Now, how does someone get consent? Some people allow widgets on websites. Some people allow manual, implement manual phone number entry, where they, oh, hey, TJ, what's your number? Let me enter it into the system. And some people do that. The gray area comes when you have to prove that person gave you permission, whether it's a verbal recording that you have, or like with us, like we require that the merchant literally text on their phone and then reply yes. That phone record is how we're going to prove if anybody says, well, I didn't give anybody permission to text me. So it's such a very slippery slope, because data is collected in POS systems. I received a message from a place I visited recently. I know I never gave that business permission to text me. I mean, I never signed anything. I never, I never received a message and then replied yes randomly. Like, I just all of a sudden received a text from a business, and just started communicating. Now, having said that, it does give you the option to opt out. So if a business, it's with you
It looks like you're
and
breaking
then
up a little bit there,
comes
Bo.
to you and it says,
Looks like Bo is breaking up just a little bit. We'll give him a second there to see if it comes back. You back there? Looks like you're good now.
yeah, this Mississippi connections, you never know.
Hey, I understand. I appreciate you putting the effort in to come in live mobile. I mean, this is a good example, right? Text message, it's all about the mobile connected universe. The fact that you can do live stream from your truck, setting God knows where. That's what the internet's all about. But do you have more points? I mean, I don't know if you want to pick that thought back up, or if you just
Yeah, I
want to
mean,
move
it's
on.
just with anything, TJ, just you always want to protect yourself long term, and we're just in that mode where we want to protect our customers, and it's just not worth risking any type of down the road situation. Look, I only want to communicate with people that want me to communicate with them, and I just try to educate the merchants on that. I'm like, I have no interest in dealing with people um, upload a list that I don't even know where that came from. So it's just a good rule of thumb just to do it the right way.
I understand that completely. It's good advice always when it comes to everything. Again, if you are just watching this and you're new around here, if you're on LinkedIn, consider giving me a follow. YouTube, it's always helpful to hit that subscribe button. If you have questions, post those. We'll get around to those questions here shortly. I'm going to roll through mine, and then we'll open up the floor for your questions. I see we have a couple on YouTube at the moment, and we will get those addressed. So you had mentioned that if you want to start a list, basically the process works. You entice your target customer to text a particular phrase to a particular number. Now, I assume, first of all, that phrase can be segmented. That you can change those phrases to segment them. We'll touch on that a little bit, but I also want to get your thoughts on effective ways that merchants are incentivizing folks to join that list.
Right. Yeah. You can just answer your first point. Uh, Lists can be broken down as diverse as you want. So it's all established by a keyword. So you can have as many keywords as you want to that will segment certain lists. Like for example, like retail, you might have something where multiple locations would have each word would segment that particular location. Or maybe it's a day list versus a night list, or maybe a customer is wanting to run a contest. The keyword, TJ, is the most important way to separate a list. And a customer can have as many lists as they want to under their account. Now, the key to building a large list is exposure, number one, because it's just like the treadmill in the garage. If we get on it one time and expect to lose 20 pounds, that's not how it works. I mean, you have to expose this thing constantly to your audience, whether it's obviously social media, email, and all that stuff, at the counters, anywhere you can. Put a blimp outside the building, it doesn't matter. But number two is an offer that people will want to join to receive that offer. It's critical, those two components together. If you just say something like, hey, sign up and hear about my specials, it's not very exciting. But if you say, hey, sign up and get a free drink, sign up and get 25% off, sign up and get a free entree or a free dessert, the better the offer, the better the response. And that alone, because I mean, I've ran studies just between customers and what has worked versus what hasn't worked and what is better than others. What we have seen is instant gratification trumps everything. If you are willing to give away something instantly, whether it be in store or online via some type of code that we set up with you, that is what drives people. They don't want to wait for something. They don't want to give something for nothing, right? See, this is why things that have worked in the past maybe don't have the magnitude that they once did when it comes to certain vehicles of communication or advertising, because everybody has just gave an email or followed something or liked something. This right here is a totally different animal. That is a almost uh, this brand where you can build this brand awareness that is this special. These numbers will never be as big as other numbers you can get from other outlets. This is a concentrated number, almost like a just having a almost like a friend. TJ, we're able to communicate because these people are giving you something that's very, very special to them. Their cell phone number. They're giving you permission to say, hey man, yeah, let me know when you got something going on. And if you want to build a big list, you have to be willing to give a little bit to get a lot back in return.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. So, I could see this. This is not about a huge volume of connections, but it's about tight connections, right? It's about forming an actual
Yes.
relationship with your customers. Do you have maybe any examples of creative or clever ways that your customers have leveraged text messaging to engage their customers and build that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, some of the more popular ways that customers can build, or leverage this is, they first of all they put it everywhere. I mean, whether it's an email going out to their customers or, Facebook live videos have been very popular where people are announcing that they have a service, or again, in-store, you know, material just sitting there. Um, some of the other ways, obviously, a pop-up. Pop-up on websites are really overlooked. And if you have spent time and money on building a website, why not have the ability to capture phone numbers right there from the website? If people are going to be visiting there, same thing with an email. You send out an email, but again, uh, it's almost like this, like you said, it's like this elite club because not everybody's going to do it. I mean, customers personally that have a million plus followers on social media, but yet their texting database is 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. But what's so unique is when they utilize that, when they expose something that they're doing or something that's coming up, they can actually, you know, track these returns, just putting certain things in the text where someone has to reveal a code or mention a code or show a text, and you can actually, you know, kind of see the return on investment, or see the ROI just based on a text that same information. This is what's so cool. You could put the same information, over here in this avenue and same information over here on this avenue. Take the same information you're trying to get out to people and putting in a text, but it's the way that it's received because we're addicted to this thing. I mean, it is with us 24/7, 365. And it's amazing how many people cannot stop looking at their phones. So they're leveraging communication. They're leveraging this addictive little device here to their advantage, and they're not abusing it. They're not. The last thing I would tell you to do is send out messages, because then you'll start to cause people to disengage. You'll cause people to not want to be a part of your group.
So we've got a question here on YouTube from Carrie. Carrie, thanks for watching the live stream, and I appreciate your questions. Her question: is there a conversation of the effectiveness of email versus texting? Are companies more comfortable with email? So I'm gonna rephrase that a little bit. You want to touch on maybe the effectiveness of text messaging as opposed to email, and then are you, as you're out there selling your services, are you having to have those conversations around why this is, if done properly, just as comfortable as email.
Yeah, and great question. Thanks, Kerry. Again, being in Mississippi, I like to go fishing, and if I go fishing and I take one fishing pole, I can only catch one fish, right? Well, I'm a big fan of taking a whole bunch of poles because that means I can catch a whole bunch of fish. I never try to compete with any other source. I'm a big fan of email because I believe it does work. I'm a big fan of every social media way you can plug yourself because I believe people are going to follow differently. The effectiveness on an email versus a text, is a little different because, sorry about that. My screen's going crazy. Um, an email, just because we're inundated by so much email, the open ratios have diminished over the years, TJ. I think average email open rates somewhere between 15 and 22%, if we're talking just numbers here, where 99% of all text messages are read within 5 minutes, 86% are read within 90 seconds. So it's a short, concise message that delivers a point to a consumer that causes them. So I'm sitting here right now, okay, 2:30 on a Friday, talking with TJ, and the one thing that I won't see right now is an email, okay, unless I have it open on my screen. But my phone is sitting over here, even though I have it face down. I promise, TJ. When I turn it over, what is on my screen? Well, I'm getting too close here. Is these little things down here, these little green things? Those are called texts. And the reason it has the effect that it does is because it's just natural communication. I never tried to compare. Well, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. I'm a big fan of everything, man. Just hit them with everything. You want to do POS, do POS. You want to do rewards, do rewards. But the one thing that every business, in my opinion, should try at some point is texting, because it's the way we as people communicate. Like, TJ, my wife and I, we're going to go to dinner tonight. All right. But if I didn't know where she wanted to go or what she was feeling, I'm not going to send her an email. I'm not going to send her a tweet or even a message. Aside from picking up the phone and calling her, what are we going to do? We're going to text, because people are busy, and it's just a quick way to say, hey, what's going on? What do you want to do? And it's the same with a business. When they have things they want to say, when they have specials, when they have sales, a business needs everything that we've talked about. They need social media, they need websites, they need everything they can have to give themselves the best advantage, and they also need text.
So it's not necessarily just an either or thing, it's just another tool in your bag to try to build those relationships with your customers. And Shane kind of tacks on to Kerry's point here, asking if there's any metrics comparing ROI of text versus email-based marketing. So, obviously the open rates are going to be astronomically higher, but outside of open rates, have you seen any correlation or any data to actually driving behavior? I know this audience is e-commerce for the most part, but a lot of your customers are really more brick and mortar, or at least are leveraging your platform for brick and mortar. But are you seeing any actual ROI metrics on text?
I ask people all the time, and we do work with brick and mortar for sure, TJ. I'm starting to get more and more into the online. A lot of these retail customers, retail is probably my biggest personal industry type. I work with a lot of different wholesalers out there and groups, and a lot of these ladies are starting to kind of get away from brick and mortar just because of the expense, and more online shoppers now than ever before. And they do give me feedback, because I ask for feedback. it's astonishing actually some of the things I've seen where people have done live sales and they've actually posted this on social media and tagged me in it, where maybe they were doing this live sale and they had racks and racks of clothing that they were trying to sell, and after their live sale, it's got like 2 pieces hanging on the hanger, and they only had ever 20 or 25 people viewing at one time, but since they communicate via before the live sale, they have over 100 or 200 people. I've gotten feedback from businesses like a Chick-fil-A that ran a free chicken sandwich, just as an example, from 11 to 2 on a Friday afternoon. Show this text and get a free chicken sandwich with any purchase over a 3-hour period on a Friday, and returned over 500 redemptions. I've seen businesses sell out of products time and time again. A very popular customer, not going to go into any names, but was just recently on Shark Tank, and she sent out a text not too long ago, and within a couple of hours had cleaned out her entire inventory of material. It's just for me to sit here and say, okay, you're going to get X amount is impossible. What I like to say this to customers is, if you send a text to 100, 200, 500, or 1,000 people, or 10,000 people, are you going to sell more sending a text to those people than if you didn't send a text to those people? And the answer will always be yes, because we're creatures of habit, TJ. We can't put our phones down. We're addicted to technology. And when you have the ability to reach people instantly within seconds, with something they've given you permission, like these people have said, hey, look, man, I'm busy. Let me know when you got something going on. The return is staggering compared on what it costs these merchants.
We have another question here, another great question, Mark. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate your questions. And Mark's question goes along with one that I had as well. So, are there any advice, recommendations for text messaging content? So what are the best practices for how you should be engaging those people who have opted into your text list?
Right. That's a great question. And, obviously a lot of people use just regular SMS, which is fine. I think putting funny little phrases in there, TJ, is cool. I've got some clients that, find a certain joke of the day or something they'll send out for that particular day. I also find that links, the hyperlinks, the short URLs leading to somewhere have been effective. And videos, compressed videos, pictures. Pictures is really big, because they're so visual, and it doesn't matter, if it's if it's clothing, if it's a restaurant trying to promote, a nice margarita or 2-for-1, whatever, pictures are worth 1,000 words. And I teach merchants that you don't want to like just lean on one area. You don't want to always just send out graphics. You don't always want to send out pictures. You don't always want to send out links. I mean, you want to, maybe do a contest. Contests are fun to do. It helps you engage your clients. Contests that can randomly be done periodically, and then we select the winners for them. Those are fun to build additional lists. But when you're sending out messages, you want to sometimes create senses of urgency. If you're trying to sell something, if you want to move a product, or create this short time frame, hey, today only, or hey, use this code between now and midnight and get free shipping. There's just ways you can kind of wordplay that will cause someone to have a fear of loss. But at the same time, you're just staying in touch. And I think a lot of times businesses feel that, okay, well, this customer's came in one time, they're guaranteed to come back. You see, there's no way ever to know if that person's ever going to walk through your door. I mean, you can think, well, I got a great country fried steak dinner. They're going to come back for that. Or I've got awesome clothing, or our golf course is awesome. But there's really no way for sure that that person's never going to come back. And just a simple text periodically, maybe with a picture, maybe with a link, maybe with an incentive, is all it's going to take for them to stop at that moment in time, no matter what they're doing, unless they're driving, hopefully, and pick up that phone and say, you know what? I haven't been there. Or, this Sunday is Father's Day. I need to go there. I need to do this. And it just creates that thought process, that moment in time about that particular business.
But it needs to be, I believe, kind of reading between the lines there. It needs to be about more than just selling, though, right? I mean, do you want to be leveraging this just for conversation? We're always advising merchants to be building community around whatever it is that they're selling. And part of building community is creating content, engaging in conversations around whatever's interesting to that community. And so with text messaging, is it going to be something similar? Is it going to be all about, trying to engage in conversation? And what mix of content that you're sending should be conversational versus transactional?
Uh, I will say that the majority of messages that I see, and I try to follow everybody's messages that I work with, might be coming in there, I'm not sure. I see the majority, honestly, TJ, is more informational about a business. Not really more. It's not really just, hey, um, let me see how to put this. The majority of texts I see that come out have something to do about the business, something going on at the business, whether it's that day or that weekend or some event going on. It's communication. This is not two-way. So someone is not going to send a text out, and then someone's going to reply back, yeah, I like that. This is strictly mass communication. Now, it could be just something as simple as Merry Christmas. It could be something as simple as, hey, we're closing early for bad weather. It could be something that says Happy Father's Day from so-and-so business. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But the majority of texts that come across have something to do with something on at that business during a certain time, whether it's, again, new things, an event, some type of something going on. That customer is trying to draw that customer back in or cause some type of reaction to that customer.
All right, we're at about 45 minutes into the live stream. We're going to go for an hour today. So if you have questions, please keep those coming, and we will try to do everything we can to make sure we get your questions answered. We're taking questions currently on YouTube and on LinkedIn, although most of the conversation is going on over on YouTube at the moment. If you're new around here, consider giving me a follow on LinkedIn or hitting that subscribe button on YouTube. It's always helpful and much appreciated. We've got another question here from Carrie. Again, keep those questions coming, and we'll keep going through those. Otherwise, you guys always ask the best questions. And so if we go back to my questions, they're going to be basic and boring. So keep those interesting ones coming. And Carrie's question is, what's the cost for mass texting? What's involved in setting it up?
Yes. Carrie, great question. And, with our product, the process is pretty simple. It takes a day or two to get everything set up. It takes another day or two to get the graphics set up and created for you, because we create those graphics with your logo and in a background that either you give us or we have templates. So the setup process is easy. As far as costs, we've got 3 different programs that our customers choose from based on volume. Our smallest plan is $39 a month. That covers 500 total messages. Now that's incoming and outgoing, so don't think, well, 500, that's a big number. We rarely ever sell those because it's so small. Because when people start joining and you start sending out messages, and if you got a birthday club, which is an automatic message on their birthday. Those will go very quickly. Our next price point is our select plan, which is $59 a month. That's 1,000 messages. Again, sounds like a lot, but it's not as much as you would think. But it's still 1,000 messages, and you can start wherever and upgrade anytime. And then our most popular plan is our value plan, and that covers your first 5,000 messages. Probably 75-80% of our business. That price point is $99 per month, and again, that covers 5,000 messages. There is a $199 setup fee, but the best part is you get the first 90 days for free. So you come on board, you pay your setup fee, you get the next 90 days for free unless you go over. So if you go over on the messages on any plan, obviously that's outside of that, so you have to pay that, but that's very minimum. That's just a couple of pennies per text, very, very incidental. And then obviously the picture messaging is an a la carte feature. You only get charged when you use that. So yeah, I mean, it's first 90 days for free. Get people started because we want you to it. You know, we come on board. We want you to try it. You know, we want you to take it for a test drive, see what you think. Really no contractual obligations since you're going to come through me through this feed. I can throw some specials out there for you. So that way right there, you come on board, you try it, you know, you got the setup fee involved, that's it. But you know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Do I have people that cancel? Absolutely. 100%. People cancel sometimes, and it just wasn't the right time for their business, or they didn't get the response that they thought. Look, nothing is guaranteed. But I will say this, the vast majority of businesses that come on board see tremendous success because we have our phone with us all the time. And kind of a side note, if you refer other businesses to Sentext, and you know, let us know that you referred them, you get 25% off your monthly fee forever. So if you refer 4 businesses, your monthly fee is gone forever. The only time you'll pay is if you go over your messages or you utilize the picture messaging.
Awesome. We've got Cal Evans watching over on LinkedIn. Cal had an interesting comment, not exactly a question, but I think it kind of goes to some of the conversation that's happening on YouTube as well. And Cal mentions that as a text receiver, as someone who receives text from businesses, he is more forgiving of emails that are slightly more casual or off topic than text. Like if you send a text to Cal, it better be on point. Is that the same for everybody? Like it had better mean something. You don't want to kind of oversend casual messages.
Yeah, you know, the average business, great question, great point, Cal. Average business is going to communicate 1 to 3 times a week. Opt-out ratios are going to vary depending on the type of business. But the majority of people, opt-out ratios will be about 5 to 10%. Obviously, the more messages you send, the more likely people are going to opt out. Sometimes people just join to receive the initial offer, right? But you know, to Cal's point, people that join texting programs, they want that simplistic let me know, because I don't know about you, I get aggravated when I don't know about something, or I didn't check the email, or I didn't find the email that was buried in the 400 I got that day, or I didn't see a post, or I looked over it, or I didn't get on social media for that 5 minutes. So people that join texting programs, they want to know when things are going on. They want to know when there's a sale. They want to know what's going on at the sports bar. They want to know if you're aerifying your greens and you're giving a discount to come play golf today. They want to know. And if they don't, they have the option. It says at the option of every message, stop to end. Because I want to send messages to people that don't want to receive messages. We don't want Cal to get mad at us, or catch him in a bad day. I mean, that's why it's an opt-in, opt-out system, and we protect the customer. So if someone joins and tries to unsubscribe, they cannot rejoin without getting it cleared through us, because I don't want to give someone or have someone trying to beat the system and get multiple discounts from a business, because that's no good. We're here to protect our customers, the clients themselves.
So just to clarify, you have safeguards. You're going to lure people in with some sort of offer.
Right.
That's usually the best way of getting them. You've got to give some incentive for them to want to be in that communication, or at least to try to do it in bulk. And so you have safeguards in place to prevent people from trying to sign up and then
Right.
get off the list and sign back up. All of that's handled.
Absolutely. Turn it off if a customer isn't really doing a big giveaway, or maybe it's just a church or something, TJ, where there's not really an offer in place. It's more just informational. But yeah, 99.9% of customers are giving something away. And if we didn't have it on, someone would just be able to go in and out frequently, and get that free drink or get that free dessert or get that 25% off. So it's turned on where if you joined a business and then got the offer, the next day texted stop and tried to rejoin, it will not let you join. It will say, nope, you're already a member, blah, 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 even though you're not going to receive any messages because you've opted out. Because customers, every now and then, or I get a text from one of my customers, hey Bo, so and so said they're not receiving our texts, and I say, yep, that's because they unsubscribed. So I'll take them out, or we will take them out of the system manually, and then they can rejoin, and that's how we protect people from that have character problems.
Cal giving us a hard time over here saying we're giving away free drinks. Cal, if you come over,
Speaking of
Cal,
which, your drink is empty.
I've got another bottle of this that someone sent me. So come on over. We'll finish it off later tonight. We'll get a fire going. It's probably too hot for a fire, but we like to watch things burn around here. It's the South, even if it's too hot for a fire. So with that, I think we're going to call it an afternoon. It's been a while since we've live streamed. We're trying to get a lot more regular with these. We should be bringing one to you every single Friday for the foreseeable future. I may actually be like Bo on some of these in the future. I may be on my cell phone in a car. I'm not really sure, but we'll figure it out. We're going to continue to get more regular, and we may start bringing you some during the week as well. We've got some fun things we're planning there, trying to get more regular with the content in general. Bo, I'm going to give you the final word. I appreciate you coming on and kind of sharing the message that is texting. If you would, just kind of give everybody an idea of how to get in touch with you if they want to know more.
Right. Absolutely. I'm pretty simple. You can email me. It's B Cain, so BCAIN at sentextsolutions.com, SENTEXT solutions with an S.com. Or look, I'm a simple guy. You can just text me. I'm a text guy. My number is 228-861-6088. You're free to text or give me a call. I'm happy. I've got 1,500 clients nationwide anyway, so I'm getting text messages all the time from people I don't know, but I'd be happy to help. That's the best way to get in touch with it, is either email, text, or you can message me on Facebook if you wanted to, but text is definitely the most powerful way to reach me.
How else would you get in touch with a guy who does text message marketing for a living other than text? Don't call him. Don't email him. Text message him. I look forward to seeing everybody next week. Should be the same place, same time, and I'll see you all then.